So I am Chris Walton, and I am a meditation teacher and cognitive behavioural hypnotherapist.
And I'm Dan Keneally. I'm a meditation teacher and breathwork instructor. And welcome to EXP. Chris, what have you got for us today?
So we're looking at comfort zones today. I've got an idea. I'm just going to say it. I think some people just can't be comfortable. And they live on this idea that sometime in the future they'll be fine. I mean, I do this a lot, or I have done this a lot in the past. And as people that teach people to get in contact with the present and to appreciate that, accept it, that doesn't match up, does it?
Not in the first instance, I don't think. I think when people come into a new practice or a new experience, meditation based, to use that as an example, or something in their daily lives, there's always that initial barrier to overcome, and it's that unknown that you were talking about. And I think acceptance of what lies ahead that is not necessarily the known is something that people kind of need a little bit of encouragement to kind of get over.
Yeah, I realise I've gone in the deep end there in a bit. It's like a bold statement, but
it goes to the point that I think comfort zones can be split into two. Okay, so like you were saying with the meditation, there's an internal comfort zone that I think people can kind of get used to, and an external comfort zone which we experience in our daily lives. And do people navigate or approach those two different comfort zones in the same way, or do they have a different approach to their internal comfort zone or their external comfort zones? Are they more comfortable with one or the other? Do they understand the comfort zones exist within as well as external?
That's a great point. I like to work with people on working with their nervous system and their tolerance for the internal stuff. But then you have to put that into practice in your behaviours in life, in daily life. So in that way, maybe you're bringing it outwards, that kind of new comfort zone into life. But your nervous system will adapt to those behaviours. So if you start doing something different, like being more outspoken, or not worrying about spiders so much, or whatever your fear is, and you're just working through that, your nervous system will adapt, and you'll have a new comfort zone.
So in your experience with the hypnotherapy side of what you do and the meditation side of what you do, what are the kind of main similarities that you use in your approach to people overcoming comfort zones, and what are the kind of differences that you see people having?
So when people come for hypnotherapy or to work on a problem, the problem comes as a package. So they perhaps have this situation, and I'll have some thoughts, some behaviours, and internal feelings that are just all packaged up and come as a phobia or a worry. So help them work through that. So that really fits in with meditation and mindfulness, because we help break them down, help them, guide them through just getting in touch with what that feels like, and being able to tolerate it and accept it. Because if you can accept those feelings regarding a situation, you can accept the situation. So that's probably the crossover. Maybe there's a difference in meditation. Of strict meditation might not involve making a change in your behaviours. I always encourage people to bring the meditation into life. I know you do too. So I think we probably agree on that.
I think so. There's I think I'm quite clear that meditation doesn't require you to change your lifestyle in any way, because technically I don't think it does. What I tend to see is that once people begin to meditate, they kind of, as you say, bring that experience that they have in meditation out, and they begin to want to make little changes, or they become curious about little changes that they're more charmed to follow, because they see an alternative way of just navigating through life, you know, when meditation is giving them that space and kind of opening of self-awareness, even in the first few weeks. You know, people can experience really profound changes in the way that they think about themselves and the world around them, because they've had some experiences where they realise that there just might be something that's there that's a little bit bigger than what they've experienced before, and that curiosity then leads them to be curious in other parts of their life, and then that engages them to try new things, and then a whole new set of comfort zones open up for them, because they're going down a path all of a sudden and opening doors that they've not opened before. They think it might be good, but you know, samskaras, impressions, you know, the grooves and tracks that we've been conditioned to, you know, to help us navigate, you know, we start to change those, and that can be a really great experience for some people, but slightly daunting if they have their comfort zone that they just want to stay in because that's what they're used to. And that's our job as teachers and coaches, to help them, you know, navigate through those decisions. Yeah,
I love that idea of change coming from within, and like, if I think I'm understanding it correctly, maybe it's that a well of stillness you get in touch with. You get in a certain resilience or something that comes from reaching a peaceful state in meditation. You carry that into life, and but you're also talking about that maybe opening up the way you make choices in life, or the way you see situations coming towards you, or seeing them as choices, perhaps. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I think, you know, choices, it could be you know, the way that they feel they are flowing with daily life. You know, are they battling against daily life, or are they flowing with the current of daily life? And if you feel as though you're starting to begin to flow with the current, when previously maybe you found it a bit of an uphill struggle, then you gain a load of confidence from this practice that seems to be quite innocuous and quite subtle. You know, closing your eyes, let's take meditation as an example. How much can it really do? If I've never done it before and I've never really kind of delved into it, what does sitting and closing your eyes really do to you? But then you start to notice changes that you can't put your finger on, and that's when you might start to feel as though, you know, things are going quite well at the minute, and I'm feeling as though, you know, things are happening, and I can't quite put my finger on why, because it's not tangible. You know, to kind of subconsciously change the way that we think about situations and decisions and choices and which options we take. But it pushes people forward into new territory, and it can be exciting, and it can be, you know, something that people just tend to pull back on a little bit. In the simplest terms, you mentioned stillness, and a barrier or a comfort zone that I've seen is often when people just sit with their eyes closed and they experience stillness. You know, in meditation at the beginning, it might just be they've got their eyes and their thoughts. You know, in hypnotherapy, when someone closes their eyes and the hypnotherapist is guiding them through an experience, ultimately they've got their eyes closed and they've just got their mind. And if you come to meditation or hypnotherapy because you want to rearrange the way that you think, or you know, calm a busy mind, which is, you know, so common, you know, how can you navigate those first few moments of stillness? Because that in itself can be way outside of people's comfort zones, you know.
Oh yeah, just doing nothing can be quite hard work for some people.
Yeah,
definitely was for me when I first tried to meditate. It was not good.
Really?
Yeah, the first few times I just wasn't able to do it. I didn't really have anyone guiding me through it, but then luckily, the Vedic mantra-based model that I learned just sent me into that place. The first time I did it, I was very lucky, but that was the first time I got it to really work.
I see people battling with those first few days of meditation when I teach, almost like they're trying to force something to happen, or they are trying to battle against the thoughts that they're experiencing in meditation, as though it's a battle of wills. You know, there's a new me that's going to take over.
Yeah.
And the old me, the old thoughts, the old rumination and the anxiety and, you know, the procrastination and, you know, we're going to get rid of that person. You know, this meditation is going to be the solution, and I'm going to experience that solution in meditation.
Yes.
And it's that attitude coming into it that, you know, people can find it quite tricky. You know, like you say that you had a bad experience. If people have bad experiences, they can often get frustrated because they're attaching unrealistic goals and expectations to that particular sitting of meditation. Whereas you used a word at the beginning, in acceptance. You know, it's a beautiful word to use in meditation because you accept the process and the experience and what's happening for what it is.
Yeah.
And you can, if you can be at peace with that, then that's half of the battle to, you know, having that less resistance, which will then enable you to kind of flourish and, you know, go through that comfort zone of the unknown, and come out the other side with a new experience to, you know, to put into context.
So that we're saying that the staying busy is a comfort zone to some people. So basically, they're not closing your eyes is so uncomfortable that staying busy is a certain type of comfort zone. Yeah.
And that staying busy, you know, if they're trying to battle a busy mind, then their solution is to over busy the busyness. You know, I'm going to concentrate and use force with my mind to calm that mind that I'm trying to tame. You know, it's almost, and there's too much going on. You know, and you don't allow yourself the time and the space then to settle and experience, you know, what can ultimately be a brand new experience for people who've not tried meditation before. And when they experience that new experience, that's when they think this is something that can, you know, that I can really vibe with.
Yeah, you can't do your way to being.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of what I have learned is about less effort. So, which is kind of acceptance, really, isn't it?
Sure.
Less effort to get through those comfort zones, and I think that can be like another comfort zone is trying. We're saying the same thing here, but like trying too hard. But also, you see this with people that are always searching for something. I'm probably still a bit like this, where I'm always looking for the next thing, and maybe that's my comfort zone, is that I'm always looking ahead in some way. But I think in that there is a beautiful want to learn more. So there's a beautiful thing in there. I've just got to keep the acceptance going with it and not see things in these levels of got to get to the next level. It's
structuring your future in a way that keeps you in the present moment, I think, is half the battle of, you know, teaching people to become more mindful and more present. Even it's not with direct practices that we call mindfulness. You know, becoming more mindful, being more aware of the present moment. I think, you know, learning how, you know, to help people have that mind shift to bring things just a little closer to where they are, and not get too carried away. Because if you get too carried away, you start thinking about what might happen, then, you know, that can lead to, is it going to be great? Is it going to be poor? Am I making the right decision? And ultimately, there's only one right decision, and it's the next one that you can make. You just keep making the next right decision. And that, for me, is the epitome of what real present moment awareness is. It's just that intention to make the next right decision. And, you know, where you'll end up is where you're going to end up. But if you make the right decisions, it'll be a great place.
I love that. And I would say that's a place I enjoy working with, because it's a type of trust. It's kind of trusting yourself in what you're doing. Keep meditating, keep putting the attention back on the breath or whatever the meditation is. Keep doing it and trusting the process, trusting yourself, and just trusting the present. It's a big thing, is trust for me. Do you have any other ideas regarding the comfort zones?
I think comfort zones come with an element of, you know, they can be beautiful places. You know, we can create a physical space which we can call our comfort zone, and we can fill it with everything that we love. ultimately you won't experience anything else, and experience is how we grow. I think the comfort zones can often lead to stagnation, because we're not allowing ourselves that creative element that will aid our own evolution, our own evolutionary progress. You know, we need to make mistakes, we need to learn. You know, we've all learnt the most from, you know, what lessons am I going to take from that experience? Even if it's a bad experience, you know, what lessons am I going to take from that experience? If you don't push the boundaries, then, you know, by the very nature of that, it's going to be a limited experience. And what I think meditation and inner work does, it gives you that limitless experience. You know, whereby all of a sudden anything is possible. You know, there's this unfiltered, unlimited potential that we all have access to. And instead of looking externally for that fulfillment and that potential, that trigger to make us go for something, we can find it here, within. And when people realize that, it's really empowering, I think, for people to think, I've got that within me. You know, and that source is within me. So that's the foundation that I need now. And the validation comes from in here, rather than external validation, to push into new experiences with confidence.
That's the trust I was on about. And what I think there's a comfort zone there that we're saying, people have this I say people, I certainly still do sometimes, but used to have this comfort zone of looking outside for reassurance, soothing, distraction. That was just soothing, really. That was the trust I was looking for, and I needed it to come from inside, and that's what I had to build up. So the comfort zone in looking externally, you know, that's a big one.